You know that feeling when payday finally hits, and for a moment, everything feels possible? Like, really possible. You check your bank account, take a deep breath, maybe even feel proud. All right, I'm covered this month. You feel a little weight lift off your shoulders. Maybe you even treat yourself a bit, because, hey, you've earned it. But then a week passes. Maybe two. You glance at your bank balance again and your stomach drops. Wait, where did it all go? You start playing that mental math game. Okay, so rent, groceries, gym, that one Uber ride, oh, and yeah, that dinner with friends. And suddenly it's like the numbers disappeared into thin air. It doesn't add up, and neither does your peace of mind. Then comes the guilt. That quiet kind of guilt that doesn't yell but lingers. I should have saved more. Shouldn't have splurged. Should have figured this out by now. It's heavy. It's exhausting. And yet, we don't really talk about it. We just keep pretending we've got it under control, smiling on the outside while quietly stressing out about debt, about saving, about how we'll ever start investing without screwing it up. This is exactly why Ramit Sethi wrote, "I will teach you to be rich." And let me tell you, it's not one of those flashy, hyped-up get-rich-overnight books. It's not about yachts or Lamborghinis or becoming a crypto millionaire by 30. It's about something way more real and way more important. Freedom. The kind of freedom where you're not panicking every time you tap your card. The kind of freedom where you can actually enjoy your life without constantly worrying if you're falling behind. And what makes Ramit different? He doesn't talk down to you. He doesn't throw jargon or judge your coffee habit. He meets you exactly where you are. Whether you've got a little saved up or you're deep in debt, whether you're earning good money or just getting started, he walks you through how to build a simple, no-stress money system that works in real life. Not in some fantasy world, not in a spreadsheet dream, but in the world you and I live in. But here's the best part. Before he even gets to the numbers, before the credit cards and savings accounts and investments, he asks you something that no one else does. A question that changes everything. What does your rich life look like? Not someone else's version. Not the influencer's version. Not the one you saw on a YouTube ad or in some glossy finance magazine. Your version. Maybe it's traveling the world with your partner and never having to check your bank balance before booking a flight. Maybe it's quitting a toxic job without looking back. Maybe it's surprising your parents with an all-expenses-paid holiday. Or finally, taking that online course, buying that camera, or saying yes to something you've been putting off for years without guilt. Whatever your rich life is, Ramit reminds us, you get to define it. And even better, you get to build it step by step. That's exactly what we're doing in this video. Not just learning how to manage money, but how to feel in control of it. How to feel proud of your choices. How to stop living in fear of your bank account and instead use money as a tool to create joy, safety, and freedom. Because being rich isn't about cutting every little expense. It's about spending consciously on the things you love and being unapologetic about it. Hey, I'm Bix, and welcome back to Bix Book Summary. Around here, we don't just read books. We unpack them like we're having a deep late-night chat with a friend who actually cares. Someone who wants you to grow, thrive, and live better, not just hustle harder. So if you've ever stared at your account in disbelief, if you've ever avoided opening your budgeting app, if you've ever told yourself, "I'll deal with money later," this is your moment. Because later, it's today. Let's take that first step toward your rich life together. Just like that, the moment we allow ourselves to dream, really dream, about what our rich life could look like, something else creeps in quietly. Doubt. Not loud or dramatic, but subtle. It whispers from the background just enough to make us hesitate. That's not realistic, it says. That's for other people, not someone like you. Or even worse, you're not meant for that kind of life. And this is where Ramit really goes beneath the surface. He introduces something that most of us don't even realize is controlling us. Invisible scripts. These aren't the things we say out loud. They're the beliefs we carry deep inside, passed down from family, absorbed from culture, reinforced by society. They're the invisible stories that silently shape the way we view money, success, and our own worthiness. Maybe it's something like, money doesn't grow on trees, or you should feel guilty for wanting more. Maybe you've heard, rich people are selfish, or debt is just part of life. For others, it's this quiet internal belief that you're just not good with money, so why even try? And the wild thing is, we didn't ask for these beliefs. Most of us were never taught how money actually works, not in school, not at home. Our parents did the best they could, but many of them avoided talking about money entirely. And when our friends brought it up, it was usually during a crisis. So we grew up forming a relationship with money through silence, anxiety, and survival. No wonder so many of us feel stuck. Ramit says these invisible scripts are like background apps running 24/7. If we don't learn to identify them, they'll keep draining us, emotionally, financially, and mentally, without us even realizing it. And the first step to changing that? Awareness. I remember when I sat down and really thought about the stories I had around money. Stories I'd never said out loud, but lived by every day. Things like, I should always be saving, even if it meant denying myself small joys. Or, if I make money, I have to work really hard for it, or else it's not deserved. These weren't just beliefs. They were boundaries I didn't even know I'd placed on myself. But here's the beautiful thing. Once you see a script, you can rewrite it. You can decide that your story is allowed to change. I'll never be good with money turns into, I'm learning how to be confident with it. I can't afford nice things becomes, I choose to spend on what matters to me. I hate budgeting becomes, I'm building a system that supports my life, not restricts it. It doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a shift, a new lens, a new language, one that's more compassionate, more empowering, and more you. Because money isn't just about numbers, it's about your story, your choices, your healing. And that's where things start to change. When you stop running from your money, and instead get curious about it, you take your power back. You stop seeing money as a monster hiding under the bed and start seeing it as a flashlight, a tool, a way to light the path forward. And speaking of tools, Ramit's not just here to drop concepts and leave you hanging. In the next part of this journey, we're diving into something that shifts the whole mindset around money, something he calls conscious spending. It's not about cutting back on every latte or feeling guilty about brunch. It's about finally giving yourself permission to spend, joyfully, intentionally, on the things that bring your life to life. Trust me, this next part is where it all starts to feel real. Like really real. Let's keep going. So once you start catching those invisible scripts in action, once you start rewriting them with more empowering, honest, and personal truths, something inside begins to shift. Your relationship with money softens. You're not just reacting to it anymore, you're starting to engage with it. But then comes the next big question, the one that trips so many of us up. What do I actually do with my money now? How do I spend it without guilt and without watching it disappear overnight? This is where Ramit drops something that's honestly so refreshing. It almost feels like a sigh of relief. He introduces what he calls conscious spending, and it flips everything we've ever been taught about budgeting right on its head. Think about the word budget. What's the first feeling that comes to mind? For most people, it's restriction. It's the sense that you're about to enter a world of sacrifice and spreadsheets. A world where you're constantly saying no. No to coffee, no to weekends out, no to joy. Budgeting has become synonymous with guilt. Like the moment you choose anything fun, you're being financially irresponsible. But Ramit says that's not only wrong, it's damaging. Because a budget shouldn't make you feel small. It should help you feel empowered. That's where conscious spending comes in. And here's the magic of it. It's not about cutting back. It's about spending on purpose. What if, instead of trying to avoid spending, you made space for it? What if your system expected joy? What if it included a category that said, go ahead, enjoy this. You don't need to explain it. You've earned it. Whether it's a weekend getaway, sushi night, a photography course, or just premium Spotify, conscious spending says you can have it. Guilt-free. As long as it's part of the plan. And the best part? It's simple. Ramit doesn't make you track every penny or stress over obscure categories. He breaks it down into just 4 key areas. Fixed costs, like rent, bills, subscriptions. Long-term savings, investments, and guilt-free spending. That's it. 4 flows to guide your money and still leave room for living. And here's what that means in practice. when your rent is paid, your savings are growing, and your investments are ticking along quietly in the background, then yes, you can buy those shoes, grab that brunch, or upgrade your phone without flinching, because the important stuff is already handled. This is what changes everything. Conscious spending doesn't make you feel deprived. It gives you permission. Permission to love your life right now while still setting yourself up for later. You don't need to wait until you're 65, retired and gray to start enjoying things. Ramit's saying, why not both? Why not be responsible and free? This idea changed everything for me. Seriously, I stopped obsessing over whether a small splurge was right or wrong. I stopped calculating whether I deserved a holiday or a fancy dinner. If it fit into my plan, I said yes, fully. If it didn't, I let it go. No guilt, no resentment, just clarity. And here's the part that takes it from helpful to life-changing: automation. Because it's one thing to create a plan, but it's a whole different level when that plan runs on its own without you having to constantly think about it. When your savings, bills, and investments move like clockwork behind the scenes, you don't have to micromanage every dollar. You get your time, your energy, and your peace of mind back. So if you're ready for that kind of calm and clarity, stay with me. Because up next, we're diving into Ramit's system for automating your money. Trust me, once it's set up, it feels like a breath of fresh air. Like your future is being built quietly in the background while you go live your life. Let's get into it. So now that you've taken the time to define what truly matters to you, and you've learned how to spend in a way that aligns with your joy, not your guilt, there's this next quiet, almost invisible piece that brings it all together. It's the part where money stops being this thing you have to chase or fear or fix every day. It's the part where you flip the script and your money starts working for you. That part? It's called automation. Now I get it. Automation doesn't sound thrilling. It sounds like some boring tech setting or a robotic finance app doing math in the background. But trust me, what Ramit lays out in this book is the opposite of cold or technical. It's simple. It's human. It's human. And it's honestly life-changing. Imagine this. Your paycheck lands. You don't even touch your phone. But behind the scenes, magic is happening. A portion of your income flows into your savings account. Another part moves straight into your investments. Your bills are handled automatically. Your emergency fund quietly grows. And what's left? That's yours. Your guilt-free spending money, ready to use, no overthinking, no self-judgment. There's no need to log in every few days, shuffle money around, or set frantic reminders to pay your bills. You're not doing financial gymnastics or obsessively checking balances. The entire system is just flowing. And you're living. That's the point. Ramit isn't asking you to track every cent or live inside a spreadsheet. He's inviting you to build a system that takes care of the boring stuff, so you can focus on the parts of life that actually matter. And the best part? It's so doable. You don't need a fancy app stack or an MBA. All you need is a few solid accounts. One checking, one or two savings, a couple of credit cards, and maybe an investment account or retirement fund like a Roth IRA or 401k. Then, you connect the dots. You set dates that match your income flow. Like, if your paycheck lands on the 1st, schedule transfers for the 2nd, just before your bills hit on the 3rd. That way, it all happens smoothly without overdrafts or stress. And this isn't just about being organized, it's about reclaiming your energy. That one-time setup? It's like planting seeds that bloom every single month. It builds consistency. It builds confidence. It builds you into someone who quietly and powerfully leads their financial life, not reacts to it. I remember when I finally set my own system up after reading this chapter. I wasn't making six figures, I wasn't debt-free, but I had clarity, I had control, and I felt something I hadn't felt around money in a long time: pride. Not because I was perfect, but because I was finally showing up for myself. That feeling is priceless. And the more that system runs, the less energy you spend worrying about money. You're not checking your balance in fear. You're not forgetting to save. You're not wondering if you're doing enough. You already are, every month, on autopilot. That's the real magic of automation. It's not about being flashy or complicated. It's about creating peace, stability, confidence. The kind of quiet confidence that frees up space in your brain, in your calendar, in your heart. And once you've got that system flowing in the background, something shifts. You stop surviving, you start growing, and you realize, hey, I've built the foundation. Now, I'm ready to play offense. Because the rich life isn't just about spending better or saving smarter. It's also about earning more, about knowing your worth, negotiating with confidence, and unlocking the opportunities most people never even ask for. So in the next chapter of this journey, we're going beyond the basics. We're going to learn how to take back the power that's always been yours, to ask for more, to earn more, and to design a life that feels expansive, not limited. Let's go there, together. Once your money is automated, when the bills pay themselves, savings grow quietly, and your spending money is sorted without second guessing, you begin to notice a shift. It's subtle at first, but it's powerful. You're no longer treading water just trying to survive the month. You're standing on solid ground. And from that place, something incredible becomes possible. You can build. And right there in that open space, Ramit drops one of the most liberating truths in the entire book. Most people are obsessed with cutting back. They stress over $5 coffees. They cancel Netflix. They feel guilty about every meal out. And sure, cutting costs can help in the short term. But here's the thing. There's only so much you can cut. You can't shrink your way to wealth. But earning? There's no limit to how much you can grow. And that's what playing offense is all about. It's a mindset shift. From how do I save a little more, to how can I earn a lot more? From I just want to get by, to how do I create freedom, options, and opportunity? It's about expansion, not contraction. And the best part is, you don't need to start a business, become a social media guru, or launch the next big thing. Ramit keeps it real. He shows you how to start right where you are, at your current job, in your current role. He gives you the actual tools to ask for a raise, like real scripts, strategies, and psychology that work in the real world. One of the most empowering tools? A simple, confident script for salary negotiation. It goes something like this. I've been taking on more responsibility, and I'd love to talk about adjusting my compensation to reflect the value I'm bringing to the team. That line alone is a game changer. It's not about demanding or begging. It's about showing up as someone who knows their worth and speaks with calm clarity. It says, I see the value I bring, and I respect it enough to speak up. But before the ask, Ramit emphasizes the groundwork. Prepare. Track your wins. Keep a folder of things you've achieved, projects you led, results you delivered, moments you stepped up. Align your pitch with the goals of your company or team. You're not just an employee, you're a contributor, an asset. And playing offense doesn't stop at income, it extends to every area of your financial life. Calling your credit card company to negotiate a lower interest rate? Offense. Having that awkward but necessary conversation with your partner about splitting expenses fairly? Offense. Saying yes to that freelance gig you've been afraid to start? Absolutely offense. It's about stepping forward, not waiting for permission, not waiting for the perfect time. It's about choosing growth over comfort, power over hesitation. And there's this moment in the book that really stays with you. Ramit says, being rich isn't just about having more money, it's about having more choices. That hits deep. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about spreadsheets and bank accounts. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose how you live, where you live, what kind of work you do, and how you spend your limited, precious time on this earth. When you start playing offense with your money, you stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, what kind of life do I want to build? You stop managing money and start directing it, using it to create a life that's rich in every sense of the word. And as your confidence grows, as your income increases, and your systems keep running silently in the background, something really beautiful happens. You stop obsessing over money. You're no longer in that survival loop. You're not hustling just to stay afloat. You're living with purpose, with vision, with joy. But to live fully, to truly step into the rich life you've been building, there's one more layer to understand. One that takes everything you've learned and stretches it into the future. The long game. Because real wealth isn't just about what you earn or save, it's about what you invest. Not just in stocks or funds, but in belief, in discipline, in patience. It's about planting seeds today that your future self will thank you for. And that's exactly where we're heading next. Let's dive into what it really means to invest with clarity and create a future that's not just secure, but extraordinary. Once you've started playing offense, earning more, negotiating, being intentional, and you've built a money system that supports your lifestyle without draining your energy, there's one final piece of the puzzle. It's the part that unlocks real, lasting freedom. The part that builds wealth in the background while you live your life. And I know, for most people, this is where things start to feel intimidating. That one word that makes people freeze up a little: investing. But here's the first thing Ramit clears up. Investing is not just for finance bros in suits or people who inherited money. It's not some exclusive club for the wealthy or something you wait to do when you have more. It's not about obsessively watching stock charts, jumping on trends, or chasing the next crypto boom. In fact, the way Ramit explains it, investing is actually kind of boring. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. He breaks it down in a way that feels like a friend sitting beside you, showing you how simple it can be. If you've ever set up a savings account or paid a bill online, you already have the skills you need to invest. It's just one more flow in your automated system. That's it. And the goal? It's not to strike it rich overnight. It's to get rich slow, steady, predictable, while you sleep. So how does it work? You start with the basics: retirement accounts. If your employer offers a 401k, take it. And if there's a match, that's literally free money. You contribute a certain amount and your employer matches a portion of it. That's like getting a bonus just for showing up. If you don't have access to a 401k, you open a Roth IRA, which lets your money grow tax-free, meaning you keep more of what you earn over the years. Then comes the actual investing, and this is where most people get overwhelmed. Stocks, bonds, risks. It can feel like a different language. But Ramit simplifies it with one core principle: low-cost index funds. Think of an index fund like a basket holding hundreds of companies. Instead of betting on one business, you're betting on the whole market. It's diversified, it moves with the economy, and it requires zero stock-picking skill. Just steady growth over time. He even recommends specific options like Vanguard's target date retirement funds, which automatically adjust as you get older. You pick the year you want to retire, and it does the rest. No stress, no tinkering, no expertise required. And here's where the magic kicks in. It's not about how much you invest, it's about when you start. Ramit shares this powerful example. Someone who starts investing just $100 a month at age 25 will likely have more by retirement than someone who waits until 35 and puts in twice as much. That's the power of compound growth. Time is your biggest asset. The earlier you start, the less you need to do. Because your money isn't just sitting there, it's multiplying. Even if it's just $50, even if it's $20. It's not about perfection, it's about building the habit, making it automatic, letting time and consistency do the heavy lifting. And Ramit's message is clear. The market will go up, the market will go down, but over time it will grow. You don't need to check it weekly, you don't need to stress over every dip. You set it, you forget it, you trust it. I remember the first time I set up an auto transfer into my Roth IRA. It wasn't a big number, but it felt grounding. Like I was no longer waiting for someday. I was doing something for my future self. Quietly, consistently. And that sense of responsibility, that sense of pride, that stays with you. So if you've ever believed investing is not for you, or felt like you're too late or too confused, let this be the moment where that belief starts to change. Because you don't need to master the stock market. You just need to start. And once you do, you're not just hoping things work out. You're making sure they do. Brick by brick, you're not just saving. You're building. A future filled with choices. A life that supports you, not the other way around. And speaking of that life, it's time to talk about what being truly rich means. Because it's not just numbers. It's not just accounts. It's not even just freedom from stress. It's something deeper, something more human. It's about peace, purpose, and waking up every day knowing that the life you're living, it's one you chose. That's what we're going to explore next. So after all the accounts are set, the automation is running, you've negotiated your worth, started investing, and created a system that feels aligned with your life, something clicks. You realize this book was never just about money. It was about something far bigger. It was about choice, about waking up in the morning without that tight knot in your chest, about looking at your account and not seeing stress, but seeing possibility. It's about knowing that the essentials are handled, your future is quietly growing, and you finally get to define what your rich life looks like. And what's so beautiful is that rich life, it's yours alone. It doesn't need to impress anyone else. It doesn't have to come with a luxury car or a rooftop view. Maybe for you, it's being able to fly home and spend time with your family without worrying about missing work. Maybe it's picking up the tab when you're out with friends and feeling proud, not panicked. Maybe it's just knowing you can breathe a little easier at the end of the month. Ramit makes one thing crystal clear. Being rich isn't a number. It's a feeling, a sense of peace, a sense of control. It's not about being perfect with money. It's about being intentional. It's about designing a life where your money supports you, not the other way around. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to read every finance book or memorize stock trends. You don't even need to get it all right from day one. You just need to start. One account, one auto transfer, one decision that says, I'm going to take this seriously. Not someday, but today. And the moment you make that choice, you're already ahead of most people. Not because you're smarter, but because you're doing something most people avoid. You're facing it. You're owning it. And if you're sitting here thinking, I've made too many mistakes, I've waited too long, I should have started earlier, I see you. You're not alone. Most of us weren't taught how to manage money. Most of us learned through trial, error, and a bit of shame. But the gift of this book and of this moment is realizing you can rewrite your story. You're not stuck. You're not behind. You're simply beginning now. For me, this book wasn't just a guide. It was a reset. It was that honest friend who tells you the truth without judgment and hands you a map when you're ready to find your way forward. It helped me let go of guilt. It helped me build confidence. And it reminded me that when money is managed right, it becomes a bridge to peace, to freedom, to a life that actually feels like yours. So let me ask you, what does your rich life look like? Not the version someone else told you to chase, not the filtered Instagram dream. The real one. The one that makes you feel calm, excited, safe, alive. Let that vision guide your next move. Whether it's finally opening that high-yield savings account, automating your bills, investing $50 a month, or just forgiving yourself for the financial mess-ups of the past, do it. Because your rich life, it's not some far-off fantasy. It's a decision you make today, and then tomorrow, and the next day after that. If this video helped shift something inside you, even a little, hit that like button and leave a comment sharing one thing you're ready to change or commit to. And if you want to dive deeper into this journey, check out the link in the description and get the book. It might just be one of the most valuable investments you ever make. I'm Bix, and this is Bix Book Summary. Thank you for being here with me on this ride. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, start small, stay consistent, and build a life that feels rich in every possible way.